Hey everyone, Mac is back, and today I want to talk about the talent tree, how you can manipulate it to based upon what you need it for certain events, PvP and such, and how you should organize it and some of your presets and whatnot, so it can help you to save you time for when you do get to these events, and kind of go from there. So let's get to it. So the first thing that you notice is this is for most of the beginners out there, that you have a battle talents on the left side, and you have your production tree, talent tree on the other side. So at the very beginning of the game, you're probably going to stay away from the battle talents for the most part, because it's going to be expensive for you to change back and forth. And expensive, I mean the alliance coins or blue diamonds that you'll have to use to reset and reconfigure this tree, because you can't just do it for free. So you start over here with the production tree, and the trick to the production tree is to go to the very bottom and to go into the gold is something you're going to need a lot of in this game, so you're going to want to unlock this gold dragon production 3 at near the very beginning of the game. Obviously, you're going to have other ones on the way that you're going to want to do as well. It's going to include the research and the construction speed, because you're going to want to do your buildings and your research for sure, because it's very important as well. But once you're able to get upgrade those, then you want to come down to this one first of the gold dragon production, because you can see there's another one up here. There's a second one and there's also a first one, but this one only has 20 levels, where the last one actually has 50. And with the 50, if you click on this icon, it shows you the increase in production that you will get. So you're starting off at 1%, but when you're all is said and done, you're getting 288%, which is absolutely a massive boost for you, and that's going to save you time, being able to gather all that gold on the world map. So get down there, get that done, and if you look up at the other one, the 20, it'll start you off at 1% as well, but it only goes to 48%. So massive, absolutely great distance between the two of 288 and 48%. So that's basically, and there are other things in here, there's gathering speed and army carrying capacity, which are good too when you're just trying to gather for the week or something like that, and you're not trying to fight or kill a rebel camp or anything like that. That's what this side of the tree is for, and the battle one obviously is going to be for fighting specifically, and also for training too, something you don't want to forget, because there's troop training. There's 2 of those on here. There's this one here, which is troop training speed 1, and then if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll also find the troop training speed 2. So that's something that you're going to want to do for your archive, is to have some of these unlocked over here, and then also have some of your the troop training over here. You can separate them if you want to. I would suggest not, because you'll be switching between, when you're training troops and when you're gathering, you'll be back and forth between those two. But if you just kind of do the bare minimum on this side, then the left side you'll be you can have that troop training. So when you go into the archive, this is where you're going to keep all your presets, and you can see you get up to 10 presets. You have to research those to be able to do that. So the ones that I have an army one, so whatever my, if I go into my army, I can say, well, I can edit here and it'll show you what my army is. The biggest thing that when it comes to your army one is to, again, go to the very bottom. You want to start from the bottom of the tree and work your way up. So there's army defense is 50, and your army health is 50 as well. This is where you're going to get your base stats. We've always said before that the army defense is not really that effective, and your army health decreases as well, of course, as you gain more of it, but you at least need some of it. So this is where you need to use your talent points for that, because you're going to get 87%, which is a really nice boost for that. But then work your way back up the tree. So you're going to have your spear attack, your cav attack, and your infantry attack, and there's 50 levels on those, and again, that's going to get you 53% on each one of those, which is very, very nice. And then after that, it's gonna vary. So for instance, I'm more of a spear-based army. So with a spear-based army, I'm going to add more of spear attack on there, and then with these other, and if I'm I do have a 3 troop type, so like, you know, so you can see I have 8 talent points left in this that I've gained. So I'd have to, you know, I could add this in there wherever I need to. There's health here as well. There's some more defense, of which I wouldn't recommend as much because you're not gaining too much. If you look at that, the maximum is 13%. Where if I'm gonna, you know, if I'm gonna upgrade this second spear, I'm gonna get another 10% on there, and I'd rather have that attack than I would these, you know, these two. And actually, there's 15 levels there compared to 20, so it's going to take you a little bit more to get there, but I think it's worth it. The attack is worth it more. But don't forget the total attack at the very beginning, and 2. It's only 5%, but it's free. It's part of that, so you want to do that as well. Going back to my archives, is the gather train is the one that I was just showing you at the very beginning. That's how I would recommend doing that. And the reason I say that, if you're a beginning player, if you're a beginner, and you don't have a gold farm, then you need to unlock these gold ones. You need to go to the last one here and unlock the gold one. I have a gold farm, so I don't do that. I don't worry about that as much. All I worry about, you see my tree actually stops here at the army carrying capacity, gathering speed, because I want to do that. And when I'm gathering out there in those level 5 or level 4 or 5 nodes, I want to make sure I get them done very, very quickly. So that's how I'd recommend doing that. This one I probably need to change. It was for AC, rebel camps, and dragon rallies. I used to have that set up for that, but not anymore, so I wouldn't really worry about that. The other one here is I have a pure cav army, so because cav's typically my weakest, so I wanted to put as much of the talents together as I can for the cav. And then I put an SOW together, the Siege of Winterfell. Again, probably don't use it. I mean, the main ones I'm going to use are my army, my gathering, my training, and maybe some of these other ones. You know, if I'm going to go into, you know, like I said, the army one is basically for 3 troops, where these ones down here are specific troop types. You know, a spear cav or an spear, which would give me a little bit more boost on there. But I really wouldn't worry about that too much. So that's just something that I would consider is just, you know, you may only need about 5 of these. There are probably other ones that I could think of that you could, you know, that you could do for specifics. We'll get into those a little bit later, but that's just what we have for now. So now the question becomes, when do you change your talents, and for what, you know, for what specific situations? So the very first one, especially for beginners, is when you're doing your research and you're moving back and forth between, you know, say you just had a, you know, kingdom versus kingdom or something, and you fought a little bit, or you had castle siege and whatnot, and you need to get back to, you need to do some research. And you're not going to want to do research, obviously. You're not going to be doing it constantly all the time. At the beginning you might be, but you're going to get some of those longer researches. So you just want to go into your talents, and that's where you want to have your archive for one of these as your research. Then you might, you know, maybe you want to do it separate from, you know, some other one of your archives as well. But then I would just go in, like I have my gather train, so I go into there and I would just, well, not even from here, I would just say apply it. Now if I want to apply it, I have to use a talent reset. Every time you change it, you have to use a reset. And there are 2 ways to get that. You can either spend 500 diamonds, you can buy and use it, or the more logical way is to come out here, go to your inventory, go to your alliance shop, and these are the alliance coins, and as you can see how many you have up here, it'll actually show that once you switch. So if I go from inventory over here to my alliance shop, it'll show you how many I have. And then you down here, you see the reset talent. It'll cost you 45,000 of those to reset. This is where where most likely you want to use this, because you're using these coins. And there are only 2 other places that I would use these coins for, and the other one would be for your badge chests. They're more expensive at 99,000, and the other one is going to be for your national relocations, which are over here on the special. At the very bottom, you can see you can get those but they're 810,000, so they're very expensive. You can buy them in packs, but you can't get them with diamonds though either. So this is really the best way to get them. There are other ways, like Alliance Mobilization Rewards has them as well, but that's where you want to get them from here. So that's how you're going to reset your talents for changing it for something like research. Something else that I wanted to mention is that in the past couple days here, we just had the Siege of Winterfell reappear. So we're a new season. Looks like it's going to be 6 rounds, season 4, which is great. And they actually added some new commanders in here that you'll be able to get. Well, what if when you're ready to, just before you're ready to enter battle, how do you want to configure your talent tree? And this is how I would say to configure your talent tree. So I don't have a specific archive in here for it. I actually had it here, and if I go to edit, I can look at it and I can probably see it's probably not very good. If I go down to the bottom, yeah, you can see. So I put in a bow attack here, so, and then I put in, you know, all the regular attacks, all the way down. So and then as far as down as I could go. So but this is not how I would configure this. What I would actually do is you can only use these. You're only going to use these talents for one of your marches. It's all it's going to be. It's all it's going to be good for. So I would recommend just boosting up all of your one. Well, I can't say that. I say their talents would be fine, but your equipment and your lord, everything that's on your lord is going to be. That's something that you're going to be. What's the word I'm looking for? It's only going to be on one of your marches. So you're going to have 2 weak marches and you have 1 strong march. So whatever troop type that you are really strong in, that's what you need to change your talent tree to. So for instance, what I did today for our talent for our Siege of Winterfell is that I put everything on my spear. So everything I did is I went spear. So I came down here, I went spear attack, and then I skipped everything else. I come up here, another spear attack. I used army health, army defense, another spear attack, and then obviously the total attack at the beginning. And anything I left over, I just put on, went back down to the bottom and put them on the cav attack and the infantry attack. And then obviously don't forget your army health and defense down here as well. I skipped the bows. I don't use bows. I tried it once in the Siege of Winterfell, and you have to be very specific for it. You really do. You have to be. Really have to go full on bow if you want to do that. So that's what you would want to do for the Siege of Winterfell for your talent tree. And then also don't forget, just speaking on that as well, is when you come out to your overview over here, change all of your equipment and all of your badges to that specific troop type as well. So like again, you see how I went spear, so I have all the badges on here for spear, and then change your lord to whatever lord you want to use in that formation. So I used Daenerys because she has a really good special ability. So that's kind of where you are at the Siege of Winterfell, and hopefully this that can help you do a lot better and have a lot more power in that event. Now, when you're playing in other events, say you're playing in Alliance Conquest, as you can see, I have that all grouped together here. But when you're playing in Alliance Conquest, you're gonna want probably to kind of stick with your regular army. So your regular army archive that you have in here, and most likely that's going to be if you're a medium spender or low medium spender, you're looking at a two troop type. I would recommend staying in that. Don't try to go all 3 troop types in here. So for instance, don't go down here at the bottom and then do once you finish with health and defense, don't go up here and don't put in infantry, cavalry, and spear. If you do that, you're going to waste a lot of your talent points here, which you might not need them. If you're a rally leader, you might want to do this, or you're probably going to do this because you're probably one of the bigger castles in your more powerful castles in your alliance. But as someone who's not, if you're more just a rally filler or a kind of a solo attack, go with what you normally would do, especially when it comes to those comes to alliance conquest. For the rebel camps, you really don't need a specific separate archive in here. Just use your army and just go from there, because they're actually not that difficult to kill. When it comes to dragon rallies, if you're doing a level 4 or below, then you really don't. You can just again use your army. If you're using a level 5, then it might actually benefit you a little bit more to be able to change over to one single troop type. If that's depending on how you're killing those level 5, there's several ways out there to be able to do it. But that's just one way to be able to take care of that as well. And like I said, I have other specific troop types down here for archives, so maybe that's something you want to do too. If you have a strong infantry spear setup, then put infantry and spear in your front line, and then your other formations in your back line. So something you can also do as well. And probably the last thing to remember is from this tree is to just make sure you change over when you're doing your construction or you're doing your troop training, because those are the two, along with research, are what you're going to be using quite often when it comes to this the talent tree. Fighting is obviously a big one too. If you're a major fighter, I think a lot of people in the game aren't major fighters. I think a good majority of them aren't, because it can be expensive. You're going to have to use a lot of healers and a lot of different other different things in the game to be able to training speed ups, and resources and all that kind of stuff, which takes time to accumulate, especially if you're not putting a lot of money into the game. So just make sure that you're taking advantage of the talent tree and taking advantage of the archive and using it wisely. The Macer's Tower is where you're going to find you'll be able to unlock all 10 of these. So if you don't need to unlock all of them, don't do it initially right away. As you can see, I'm not even using them all myself. I probably could organize it a little bit, but it does cost you to be able to do so. So if I tried to edit this and then I tried to like save it, say I wanted to add this on here and then I say upgrade, and then I go to, actually it won't even let me save it. I guess I thought I pressed edit there, but yeah, like if you, it's going to cost you to be able to do it anyway, to be able to save your archive as well, which are expensive too. Like again, that goes the whole way back to your inventory, your alliance shop here, and it's down here somewhere. Let me show. Yeah, there it goes, talent archive. So that's another one. I have 15 of them, but they're expensive, 202,000 of these, and you don't want to be using these on that if you don't have to. Which and in actuality, you really don't. And you can get it from the diamond shop, it looks like, as well. It's neat that they actually show you that. You can go over here. This one says diamond shop too. I guess you can. So if you, where did we find them? We found them in the battle. So if I go, see, I don't see them anywhere. I guess, well, if you're spending 500 diamonds, so that would make sense. But anyway, regardless, like that, just make sure that you, using them wisely and have everything taken care of. So until next time, Mac out.